Hello, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are in Cornell University in the US. So, Cornell is one of the Ivy League universities in the US, top ranked university with lots of funding for both domestic and international students. So, if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. If you're new, thanks for joining us. And make sure you subscribe because I'm sure you will enjoy the materials on this channel. So, today we'll be looking at funding at Cornell, different departments and different kinds of scholarships and assistantships for international students. We'll also be looking at the African Fellowship for those seeking to do graduate studies at Cornell. We'll be looking at application fee waivers at Cornell as well. There's good news here. There are application fee waivers for both international applicants and US students. And then we'll have some words to say about the English proficiency test and waivers if there are any. So let's begin. So as you can see, there are different courses here, and these courses might have different requirements. So I'll be looking about one or two of them to just give you the general feel of the admissions requirements and the funding available. But it is essential that you do your own investigation, click on the course that catches your interest, that aligns with your background, and see the peculiar application requirements for the course of your interest, because application requirements might differ from one course to another. So let's begin with the African Fellowship. So if you're an African national from one of the African countries, so congratulations. There is a fellowship here for you at Cornell for PhD that covers your stipend, food, tuition, and health insurance for PhD applicants. I must say that for a number of US universities, you can move directly from a BSc to a PhD. Sometimes you do not need to do a master's. From a BSc straight to a PhD. So if PhD is your goal, please just apply for a PhD directly. But if you want to do a master's, probably you're not interested in the whole PhD stuff. That's fine. You can also do that's fine. You can also do a master's. But just to tell you that PhDs are funded more than masters in the US generally. So to be eligible for this Cornell African Fellowship, you don't need to put forward a different application. Just indicate that you want to be considered for this scholarship. I think it's written here that you should request to be nominated for this scholarship from your department. So you send your department an email and say, hey, I'm applying for this course and I would like to also be considered for this scholarship. So kindly put my name forward for this scholarship. So you can learn more here about the African Fund Fellowship. Yeah, I think there are lots of info here on what to do. But as I said, there are lots of other opportunities here, whether you're from Africa or not. There's something for everybody. So let's check out some of these courses and the applications requirements. So let's go to Department of Government, for instance. So if I were to apply to Cornell, Department of Government, this department would have been one of my choices. So Cornell, you go straight there, and Department of Government. Of course, you have to read like the general applications not the applications requirement, now the course description, what the course is about, their areas of strength, their areas of focus. And of course, you go to the deadline. So there's just a deadline in December. Then the applications requirement, you have to fulfill the English language proficiency. We'll be looking at this shortly. Three recommendation letters, a writing sample, probably a sample of the paper you wrote, either a 10 paper. If you have a publication, that's good. Um, a critical piece that you've written in the past that you think will make you competitive. And here it is said that the GRE is optional. Optional means submit it if you like. If you don't like, don't submit. But I would advise that if, as much as possible, try to take the exam, try to pass it well because it might just help. It might help your profile at the end of the day. So when they say optional, I think it's advisable to take it and pass it because it will just put your name a bit forward during the exercise, during the selection exercise as well. So usually it's good to know somebody in the department. Some departments do not specify whether you should contact professors or not. So when you are in doubt, it's very good to contact the department. You could always send them an email that, oh, do I need the the support, the blessing of a professor in the department before I apply. Or some departments will just match you with the professor that researches your area of interest. But it's always good. It's always good to check out the faculty to see what they are doing. So you can even mention their names at least in your application, even though you don't need their blessing sometimes. So it's good to clarify. You can clarify from the department and then check the staff and the faculty. So see what they are doing, see their different kinds of research. For instance, if I'm researching here, I'll look for those working on African politics and see what they are doing. Send them an email, introduce myself, and things like that. So that's it for the Department of Government. And of course, we need scholarships, assistantships. Let's see what they have in store for those in search of assistantships. So it said here that PhD students and research master students who qualify for teaching assistantships, research assistantships, graduate assistantships, and other things. And these will cover stipend, food tuition, and health insurance. So they got you covered everything. You wouldn't need to move a financial muscle. They are paying for your tuition, giving you a stipend, paying for your health insurance as well. So this is good. This is very good. So do your investigation and check for your own department. So we could try another department here. We could go to the, let's see, we could go to the engineering department. This is biomedical engineering and see what they say. So you read the program description, go down and see the admissions requirements. Here it is said that the GRE is not required if you want to read for a master's in biomedical engineering. So you can see here that the GRE is not required. They said something about the TOEFL or the IELTS, the English test, and now the recommendation letters. Of course, we would also check for stipend, fellowship, and things like that. It's always good to check and see how much they pay their students. This is a good amount of money. So if you're earning up to 30,000 US dollars a year, that's a fair amount of money as well. There's stipend here, so it's good news. So take advantage of this opportunity and apply as much as you can. So let's do another interesting topic, application fees. So for Cornell, the application fee is $105. That's quite a lot of money if you ask me. But fortunately, there are application fee waivers, both for international applicants and US applicants. And this is good. And how do you apply for the waiver? You have to indicate why applying for the course, one of those courses we looked at earlier, that you want to be considered for an application fee waiver. And it takes them 1 to 3 business days to either approve or deny your application for a fee waiver. So you indicate while applying for the course that you want to be considered for a waiver. And the waiver is granted on two major conditions: financial hardships, and there's this graduate path and participation. There are a number of programs you can participate in at Cornell, probably virtually as well. If you're an international student, you can't be there in person. So virtually, by virtue of your participation, you might get an application fee waiver. So study this very closely if you're interested in an application fee waiver at Cornell University. So let's move on. Let's go to the English language requirements. Unfortunately, Cornell requires either the TOEFL or the IELTS for those applying from outside the US. There are a number of exemptions though, but the list of exempted countries are quite the number of exempted countries are quite few. So it says here that you have to be a citizen of the United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. For citizens from India, Pakistan, Philippines, Hong Kong, Singapore, Nigeria, and Ghana are not exempt from the requirements, unfortunately. So a number of my subscribers here, of my viewers here, unfortunately have to take the English language test to be able to apply to Cornell. This is disheartening. But if you can do so, please try endeavor to do so. The application cycle is already here, so you might want to start practicing for the English language test and try to meet the December deadline for a number of these courses in the first place. So it said here that those from the US, UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and South Africa, they want to qualify for the exemption in the first place. So I do not make the rules, unfortunately. And there are a number of other countries apart from these mentioned, of course, that speak English or that teach in English. So it's not fair that some countries are exempted. So as much as possible, if you can take either the IS or the TOEFL, please try to do it to improve your chances of being considered for admission and for assistantships at this university. So there you go, guys. Several courses at Cornell, a top university in the US. You wouldn't regret it if you get in here. It sets you on a path of excellence. So try as much as possible to utilize this. And as usual, we cannot wait to celebrate you. So it's a quick one, fully funded scholarships or assistantships at Cornell with application fee waivers and courses. Some courses have waived the GRE, for some others it is optional. Check for your own course. And guys, we'll see you at the top sooner than later. So bye bye for now and get to work.